Welcome to Secrets Revealed Bodybuilding Podcast with Sean Hypes, Ryan Palmberg. Today's topic is going to be more or less, Sean, the topic that we decided to talk about this week, we got from Instagram. I screenshot a story off someone's page, I guess call him a high-level, national-level amateur who screenshotted, I think, off of another, we'll call him like a motivational speaker slash businessman. We're gonna get into it, but it's a topic that really kind of irks both you and I in the coaching world. So I guess we'll lead into it right now. Let me read it one more time for everyone here. So the screenshot, right? I got it here. It says, you shouldn't hire a coach based on your budget. You should hire a coach based on who you want to be, right? And this was called out, Grant Cardone is the original person for this quote right here. So yeah, I saw this and right off the bat, I screenshot it myself and I posted it to my story on Instagram, and I got probably like 10 messages almost immediately from people like on both sides, right? It's really a good, I could even myself argue both sides of this, just because it's a good debatable topic, but I'm really strongly on the side against it. So again, the quote was, you shouldn't hire a coach based on your budget. You should hire a coach based on who you want to be. So it really pisses me off, man, because bodybuilding for the masses should be a hobby. And you should not, it's just, unless you have elite genetics or you have the potential to be, elite, you're near the Olympia stage, bodybuilding shouldn't be the sole focus of your life. And it definitely should not be, you shouldn't base your budget around, you shouldn't base your budget around it, but you shouldn't be exceeding your budget for bodybuilding, right?
Correct. You shouldn't go broke, especially just to pay a coach.
No, man. Like I said, unless you have elite genetics, you're not going to make money in the sport. You're not going to get a contract unless you have 1 million social media followers. You don't need to. I said, so one of the guys that messaged me, and this is my response, or he said to me, he said, well, if that's the case, he's like, maybe you shouldn't be bodybuilding at all. And I was like, dude, I was like, if I'm a golfer and I want to drive a ball 300 yards, I don't need to buy $1,000 driver to do that. I can do it with a $200 driver. So you don't, there's a lot of these coaches that charge freaking up the ass, dude. Some girl messaged me saying they pay $500 a month, right? I know a lot of these top guys, dude, $500 a month.
The fuck?
That's insane.
Are they buying their food and cooking it for them too? And
you know who it is? I'll tell you who it is too. You'll think it's what's his name? It's the first physique Olympian.
I know you talk about the guy's a dick.
Michelangelo, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Michelangelo. I think, yeah. $500 a month.
And that's just for the fact that who he is, his name.
It's his name.
I know a couple pros personally that I talk to, not on a daily basis, but like monthly, we'll just chit chat here and there.
Yeah.
And one of them, top level, has finished top 10 in the Olympiad before, $100 a month. That's what it tells you everything.
The coaching's pretty easy, man. Coaching, and if you got a client that adheres to the program, our job is not that hard.
No.
We're instructing them on what to eat, and we give them a workout. That's really all it is. There's obviously some troubleshooting, diagnosing going on in there, but that's not every single check-in. It's not every single issue. It's not every single client. The majority of my clients are pretty easy. Boom, here's my check-in, here's my weight change. No digestive issues this week. Everything, the cardio done, training done. I followed the plan. I don't have to change anything.
Yeah, people don't realize it's, as coaches, whether it's you or me, and we have experience, but there are higher level experienced coaches than us.
Absolutely.
That have been around much longer. The big thing is we already know what we're going to do. And when I say that, I don't mean, no, I'm not giving you a diet. I've already given out stuff like that. But for the most part, I already know how to structure the diet. I've gotten my information from you that I need, whether it's medical issues, foods, allergies, foods you just hate, whatever it happens to be. I know in my mind how I'm breaking this down. So when I sit down to write your diet, I will write down all my notes from your starting weight, the foods to avoid, any of those issues, time you wake up, go to bed, all this stuff, what you do for a living. So I start structuring my diet, from my notepad. All
Yep.
that gets done. I basically then from there is basically just a rough draft of your diet. I set that diet aside. I walk away, get my mind completely off of it, come back, adjust from there.
Yes.
That's the gist of what we do for the initial diet.
Yep.
And given the notes, the notes, honestly, they're mostly the same for everybody.
Mhm.
There's changes here and there. It's the usual, chicken can be this, blah, blah, blah. But that's what we do as a coach. And then from there, it's establishing your workouts, communication throughout the week, and then your updates.
Yep.
There's only so much a coach can do to guide you in the right direction. All the work is definitely done for the client
Yeah.
or by the client. I'm sorry. If you're not doing your end, whatever I tell you is not, there is no magic answer. You just have to do what you're being told. And
Yep.
that's where people think that going to a $400-500 a month coach is going to get you this secret sauce that you and I don't possess.
Right.
And I think I had mentioned this to you in a text. You take a high level coach that gets on a client that has good genetics, is a seasoned athlete, has won a regional show here and there, and he goes to that big time coach. He gets first place.
Yeah.
You give me that same client, I guarantee he'll get first place.
Yeah. That's one of the bigger problems with it, right? So us as smaller end coaches, we don't have big names. We haven't won any big, prestigious titles or have any, big prestigious clients of our own. We're not going to get those high caliber clients typically. So, for us, it's going to be slower progress because we're getting people with less experience, um, people with less exposure. So our name's not going to continually be getting out there, and we're not going to be, these people aren't going to be constantly winning championships. So we get, the average run of the mill clients who we do, it's a lot of my clients have been with me for a long time. So we're getting it's progress, but it's progress over a long time. But like you said, you get a guy that's seasoned, a seasoned athlete who's won a couple regional shows. How easy is it? That guy already has the mental fortitude. He has the training knowledge. He has the basic diet principles. He knows what's going to happen in a prep, right? He knows the struggles of it. He's done this multiple times. So there's not much you need to teach them. It's more or less just, hey, pull carbs here, add cardio here. Simple little tricks. It's literally just diet adjustments, training adjustments,
Yeah,
nothing major. The people that we're getting, we're transforming their life generally,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Let me see a guy that charges 400 or 500 a month take on a client that's never been in the gym or just very little gym experience, has
Mhm.
no genetic looks from what you can see, just a normal person walking down the road, and turn them into a high level competitor or a pro.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that. And the main reason is that I'm not saying it's the coach doesn't know what he's doing. He knows,
Mhm.
but he's not going to give them the attention they need.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's something that people like you and I on the lower end of coaches, that's what we do. These higher end, give them a call on their cell phone. If you have their number, they're not going to answer.
Right.
You call me, I'll talk to you. What do you need to know?
Yeah.
You know, the other things that we've noticed too is they don't care about your health one bit, not one bit. I mean, I've seen literally structured plans for gear plans from week 1 to week 16 of a show before
Yeah.
they even start. There's no way in hell you can give that out to a client. No way.
Yeah.
Um, and then not knowing how their blood pressure is going throughout it, how their blood markers are, all this stuff.
Yeah.
They have no clue. And I don't see how people can do that and even not see that something's wrong with that from the get-go
Yeah.
and expect that good things are going to happen versus you come to someone like you and I, you start noticing these little issues. Hey, get your blood pressure checked, which I actually just did to a client of mine a couple of weeks ago. His blood pressure spiked high. Well, time for you to get off. Got off. Everything seems clear now. All that stuff, food adjustments. It's little things and feedback
Yeah.
that we pay attention to that the other coaches won't, and you personally know that from experience.
I definitely know from experience. I told you. So I think people might know from now, but I was with Phil Viz I paid him 6 months up front, $1,500. Nuts, right? It's a shit for 6 months worth of work. Dude, it took this guy, and I'm not even kidding you, it took him 14 days to get me my initial plan. So I paid him 1,500 bucks, took him 14 days to get me my initial plan.
And now,
And
given
I was
this
like,
is what he does for a living, he
yeah.
doesn't have a day job.
So he told me off the bat, he's like, hey, give me like 3 or 4 days to get your plan. I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's fine. 3 or 4 days. That's not a big deal. I texted him like day 7. I was like, hey man, where's my plan? He started sending me screenshots of like other clients. He's like, oh man, don't worry. He's like, I'm gonna get your plan. He's like, it's gonna be the most detailed thing you've ever seen. He's sending me screenshots from clients saying like, wow, Phil, this is the most detailed plan I've ever seen. It's like, dude, I don't fucking care I don't care what your clients think of you. I need the plan because I'm paid you fucking money and I want to start making improvements. Like I hired you because I expect it to be detailed. So I don't, it needs to be. I
Yeah.
get it. There's nothing detailed about it, dude. The detail is the fact that he like wrote some like key like training points in there, right? But it's a copy and paste. It's a copy and paste training plan. And because I went to specific, my biggest reason for going to this guy is one, he's a very good salesman in the terms of he posts a lot of knowledge on his social
Yeah.
media, right? And a lot of it sounds, you're like, wow, that makes sense. It sounds good. And he's very like detail oriented with his training and like particular with things. And I was like, this guy, I want to take my training to the next level. I was like, I was at a point in my career where I felt that I built a very good base. I sent you those pictures, remember from a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
where I said I wanted to kind of get back to.
Yeah. Where he took you away from.
Yeah, so I had a really good base, I had a really good structure, and I had a lot of muscle, and I felt that I just wanted to take that to the next level and just improve certain areas, like lacking areas, right? And I wanted someone that was going to be able to be able to like have a keen eye and say, hey, this is what you need to do to target this, and we can bring this up. And so I went to him, it was arms. Um, yeah, my biggest thing was arms and just overall leg development. And there was nothing, I was like, I want an arm workout and I want a leg workout from you. And I just got like a general, I didn't get any kind of arm workout whatsoever. No like pointers, no nothing. And the leg workout was just a general leg workout, nothing fancy at all. But
Yeah.
it was like I paid him an extreme amount of money. I got no detail that was promised to me. And I regressed. I regressed a lot. And I didn't yeah, I told you I never got a single update in the off season.
Yeah. I mean, he basically just used the used car salesman pitch on you.
Yeah.
There's guys like that they use like we talked about this before, they use big words, they'll try and confuse you to think, oh man, they really know what they're talking about.
Yes.
It all breaks down.
Listen,
This is the most
it's
basic.
so simple. The formula is so simple. You don't need to do all these crazy, wacky things. That's what his niche in the field is he posts all this great information, which it's all probably true, 90% of it. But science doesn't always translate into this world.
No.
And when you start thinking about things too much, like when you have to check your insulin level after every single meal because I can't start compounding meals. My insulin or my blood glucose is over 100. I gotta wait another 20 minutes and check it again. Dude, let's prick my finger like 10 times a day.
Yeah, they no need for that shit.
It's just stop overcomplicating things. You don't
And
need to.
you shared the diet with me, and I remember looking at the diet. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was
Yeah.
like, "It was shit. Like it really was." And I mean, take a shot or not, I don't care. It was the shittiest diet I've probably seen. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's the most overcomplicated bullshit diet I saw.
Yep.
And I actually was confused by it a little bit. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm looking, I'm like, he's only getting 2 meals a day. Oh, but then you get to choose 5 of your other meals and move back and forth. And it made no sense to me
It was
how
confusing.
no structure.
The whole structure and layout was confusing. And this isn't. I'm not trying to bash the guy. He obviously worked for some people. But what I realized when I left him, what I realized. So I went to him because I saw a lot of his clients. I saw him compete at nationals when we were there in 2018 for summer. And I was like, wow, he looks, he's peeled. What I didn't realize, and I saw, retroactively, is that he works with all national level competitors. He
Mm.
actually gives a discount if you're a national competitor, so you pay less out of the gate. Um, and then what I also noticed too is like all his guys are like fast metabolism guys year round.
Oh yeah.
They're already lean, including himself. And I didn't realize that I'm not a fast metabolism guy. You're not a fast metabolism guy. You carry a little like when I'm like even right now I was 230 the other day. I still got I got some fat on me for sure. Um, he doesn't work with normal metabolism guys. And there's a big, have you worked with both fast metabolism, like, normal people? There's a big difference.
Huge
It's
difference.
way easier to get someone that's already in shape and better shape than it is to get someone who's fat into shape.
No question. And it's not taking necessarily a shit on him or what he does,
Right.
but this is what you're gonna run into when you pay $400 or $500 a month for a coach. They don't give a shit about you. All you are is a meal ticket. That's it.
Yep.
You know, you take to the average person that goes to this person, whatever coach it is you want to say, you pay X amount of dollars. they're not thinking about you
No.
because you're just a number to them. They
Yep.
care about their national level competitor that's going to try and get them pro, that's going to give them a big viewing so they can put them on Instagram and get more clients to fall into the scheme.
Yep.
That's how it works. They don't have a set number of clients that they'll take. It's just, oh, yep, whatever, how many, it don't matter. They just keep going until they just don't have any more clients to take on.
Yep.
People like you, me, we have a set number, not only because we have a life, we have a job. I
Hmm.
also don't want to start confusing things and forgetting about clients,
Yep.
taking attention from clients, things like that.
Yep. I could do that fit like 15 is my max. I won't go over 15 clients. I personally, I can't handle it. It's too, it takes away too much from my personal life. I'm already working full time and I'm doing the personal training now as well. I've got, I think, like 15 hours a week training, right?
Okay.
So my time is very limited. So I can't take on more than 15 clients at a time because it just gets too much to manage. And if I take on more, that personal ability goes out the window and I can't start paying as much attention to each individual as I want to. I can't ask all the probing questions all the time.
Yeah.
But so the biggest point here, I think, is listen, the top coaches, like you already said, are definitely more knowledgeable than us. They have more experience than us with coaching people. But if you're new into the sport, if you're new into the sport and you want to be Ronnie Coleman one day, you don't need to go to Chad Nichols today. Okay.
No.
You just need to find the next guy that's better than you, that can groom you a little bit, right? That can get you on a set meal plan, that can get you on a good training program, a good cardio regimen, and can teach you. Once you feel like you've maxed out everything you can get from that guy, then maybe go move on to an intermediate guy. The point is you don't need the best coach to get started. And you
No.
certainly don't need the best coach even when you're still like a regional level amateur. If you want, if you're at that elite level, sure, go to the elite guys. They're going to be able to help you a little more. They have some more experience with it.
I'll recommend coaches to you. If I feel like I can't get you to that next point, I will literally tell you I can't get you no further. I
Mhm.
will recommend you a coach out of 3 people that I know or that I like, whatever it is,
Yeah.
from that point. Um, but in the same sense, also understand that when you coach hop and you go coach to coach, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
You got to remember it takes time for people to learn your body.
Hmm.
So as we go along with coaching you, I'm learning these little tidbits about you as we're dieting. Say, oh, yep, this food doesn't digest well with them. So remember that for prep, that bloats them.
Yeah.
This little trick works. This little trick doesn't. You move on to a new coach. All those are out the window.
Yeah. Start from ground zero again.
And then it belongs with now you're with a higher level coach. If they're not giving you the attention that you need, and you tell them, hey, look, my last coach found out that potato bloats me. I can't really eat potato. Is he going to listen? Or is he
Yeah.
say, oh, he didn't know what he was doing. Just go eat the potato.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah. I was with Dave for the last like 4 years over it's been. I
Mm,
had that one little blip with Phil. I don't count that at all.
no.
So I built most of my muscle with Dave, right? Dave is I would consider it. He's a very well known coach. I don't consider him like the top level coach, but he's awesome at what he does, right? But he's here's the thing with Dave. You will do very good with Dave if you can adhere to a plan and you don't have a ton of questions.
Yeah.
If you can execute a plan, you will make results guaranteed. Um, Dave is very basic in his approach. You eat a lot, you're going to grow a lot. You diet hard, you get lean, right? And I did that with him for over the course of 4 years, and it worked every year. The only reason I left Dave is because I felt like I got to a point where I wasn't always the most peeled guy on stage, and I need to be. I think I'm not. I'm not. I don't have the best genetics structurally, muscularly, shape wise, anything. So in order for me to be known or to seen better, I need to have that tight, crisp, peeled out of my mind conditioning. And just simply put, the last 2 years, I haven't been able to get that with him. And that's just because he's so busy. He has what runs like 3 or 4 companies. So he's always doing something. So his updates are very simple, and he doesn't take the time to really get in deep with like some crazy questions.
Yeah.
So Dave will definitely get you to where you want to be if you're newer or if you're in the middle. I just wanted to take it to the next level, so I switched to another guy that I've known him for maybe 3 or 4 years now, Andrew Barry. don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's somewhat of a local guy. He's up in Vermont. But I switched to him immediately after my last show, which is in October, and we were going to. My original plan was to go to nationals. Um, I dieted real hard with Dave for 20 weeks to get ready for that show because we started a little early because we got married in September. So we
Mhm.
dieted real hard all the way up to September. We were in Florida for a week where I still followed the plan. I would say 90%, got all my cardio in. I would just basically my approach was I didn't eat carbs until we went out and did like, you know what I mean? So I actually lost weight. Actually lost weight on the trip still, but so I competed with Dave and but he rode me super hard this year, man. I was doing up at the wedding, which I think was 7 weeks out from the show. I was already doing 90 minutes of cardio a day.
Damn.
And then so up to the show, I was obviously doing over 2 hours. And so I switched to Barry and just immediately out of the gate, he was asking some questions that I've never been asked before. You know what I mean? Like the first thing I did when I got with him is I got my estradiol checked and I got my cortisol. And we, he prescribed me some supplements to take. And so things were, long story short, I was just beaten down so hard from the crazy low zero carb diet for so long and the crazy cardio that I just stopped responding. I couldn't drop any more weight and my condition was improving. But in the off season with him now, and he's doing things that I've never done before. That are just like simple little tweaks, you know what I mean? From just coming from questions that he's asked me that I've never been asked before either. So
Yeah. And that's what you're going to run in with. Different coaches have different approaches.
yeah,
And each coach kind of has their own little niche to them, whether it's for growth, whether they go for fullness, whatever it is. It's like with me, I tell all my people, I don't care about how big you are on stage, one bit.
yeah,
I want you as shredded and peeled as possible.
yeah,
So I will sacrifice some of that fullness for that conditioning.
yeah.
That's my thing that I do because I believe that conditioning wins over just fullness.
Mhm.
And we've noticed throughout NPC, just depends on, I guess, what show you're at, the
Yeah.
competition go. That's just my thing. Um, with my experience with working other coaches, a lot of times people don't realize this, and this could be a whole new subject in itself. Everyone goes to a different coach because they think their other coach is holding back, whether it's knowledge on gear, exercises, whatever it happens to be. It's all about the food.
Yeah.
It's all food. Yeah, I've worked with 3 pros actually, between Denise Gerard, Curtis Bryant, and Juan Morel,
Mhm.
and food is just like
As they were your coach?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and each one of them, it's just like with Denise, it was good amount of food. Then with Curtis, it was a lot of food. Then with Juan, it was just like, whoa, this is a lot of food,
Yeah.
and it all boils back to the same thing of it's all about the food.
Yeah.
So to kind of stay on the same subject, but give you guys something to look into with coaches is not only ask people about their coach, but when you talk to the coach, see how they develop their whole system. Are they gear driven? Are they workout driven? Or are they food driven? That will tell you a lot about them. If your big thing is growth, it's all about food,
Yeah.
food and busting your ass in the gym.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're looking for shortcuts, but know that it's not a shortcut, it's gear. And you're going to have a lot of your high end coaches that just rely on gear just because that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's a lazy way out as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man. And like I said earlier, when I switched to Barry, before I switched with him, I talked to him on the phone at length, just about everything that I've experienced up till this point. I told him the pros with Dave. I told him the cons. I told him I really only had cons with Phil, but but I told him each of those scenarios. I told him everything that I liked, everything that I knew worked for me, and I told him the things that I know don't work for me. And then the other key things when we switched to off season, I said, listen, the first thing that I want to address is my blood pressure. My blood pressure, I've been running stage 1 hypertension for the last 2 years. I've always been like 137 over. Um, my dystolic, the lower number, was always pretty good, but the systolic was always high, 137, 142, 145 in that range. I was like, dude, the first thing I want to address is my blood pressure, man, because longevity is not even in the sport, just longevity in life in general is more important to me.
And that's
That's-
actually, I saw someone on Facebook. I don't remember who it was. It was probably some group I belong to. They actually called out a lot of people about this blood pressure thing going on right now.
yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, they're posting their blood pressure, saying, oh, yeah,
Oh,
it's good.
Boston.
Was it Boston Lloyd?
Yeah, Boston did it. Yeah.
Okay, and it was some guy posted his blood pressure, and he's like, yeah, it's it's 130 over, I think it was like 90 or something. He's like, yeah, that's pretty good, considering I'm big. And it's like, dude, your size doesn't matter about your blood pressure. Your blood pressure should be the same.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about it. It's okay, yeah. Say your blood pressure is 120 over 80. Everything looks good. Awesome. Are you on blood pressure medication? Because
Mhm.
then your blood pressure is not good.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure is dependent now on a pill that you take.
Yeah.
Same with cholesterol. There's a lot of bodybuilders that are on cholesterol medication. Yeah, their cholesterol's in check, but you're surviving off of that pill.
Yep.
To me, as a coach, one of the first things I address is health. Not only do I want blood work, whether especially if you're coming off a cycle, whatever it is, I'm not going to say where your blood's good, like a lot of coaches do. No, all right, send me your bloods. I want to see them.
Yep.
And I will go over them with them. I've heard some people say, oh, it's okay for your liver, your ALT or AST, whichever one's high. It's okay for it to be a couple points high because you're a bodybuilder. No, it's not. It needs to be in check.
Yeah.
Plain and I can tell you a scary experience for me was I remember one time I got my bloods checked and my ALT was 140.
Oh wow.
So we're talking 3, 4, 5 times the normal. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. So I immediately just went on basically just nothing eating but vegetables, cut fats back, cut protein back.
Protein back. Yeah.
Just that's all I did was like vegetables and like a little bit of carbs. Just I didn't care how hungry I was. I was basically starving myself.
Yep.
And I went back about 4 weeks later, got it down. It wasn't normal, but it was in better range.
Right.
And then I slowly added more food in, and then went back 4 weeks again, and everything was in normal range.
Wow. Yeah. It takes a while for those things to go down.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
so these are also always things to look for in a coach. Do they care about your health? Do they care about where you want to be in this sport? Not only we're all going to run into this as coaches. I want to be the next Ronnie Coleman. I want to be Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Be real with yourself. And I tell this people, I've lost clients saying this. I'm like, you're not going to be a pro. I don't care how hard you work, how much I know, whatever it is. Either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
You might be able to slip through the cracks. That always can happen. But from the get-go, a good coach can tell you if you have what it takes to be a pro or not.
Yeah. Prove me wrong too.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But these are things you got to realize when getting a coach is look at their price. So if you want to pay a man $400 a month to tell you what to do, you got to remember one thing. You're the one in control here. You're the one paying.
Yeah.
They need to do what you tell them to do. Now given, yes, you can't tell them, no, I want to eat this food. No, I want to take this gear, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But you're the one in control. If they're not answering your questions, you need to get on them.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that when it comes to getting communication with your coach. I've never been an email person. To me, it's more text, phone call type person.
Mhm.
Coaches do prefer emails, and it's easier for check-ins with emails for some people.
Definitely is. Yeah.
But understand it's all about control. The client has the control, not the coach.
Yeah.
And it's like clients are afraid to speak up to certain coaches. And you see it all. I've had people talk to me about their current coach, and they're like, I just don't know what to do. This is what he has me doing. I'm like, talk to your coach. I'm not your coach.
Yeah.
I'm not going to step on somebody's toes, whatever it happens to be.
I get these questions a lot, and that's the first thing I ask: do you have a coach? Or if I know they have a coach, I'm like, dude, you got to ask them. It's not my place to tell you what to do. If you want to pay me, sure, I'll do it. But you got to tell them that you're leaving them and come to me.
Yeah. Now, if they have you doing something bionically stupid, like I actually had a girl one time that came to me. She showed me her diet. She's like, I'm just not losing weight. What's going on? She showed me her diet. She was eating less than 700 calories a day. And that was, and I don't typically count vegetables as carbohydrates. That's with counting the vegetables. It was less than 700. And I told her straight up, like, I don't know who your coach is. She told me. I was like, but at the time I didn't know. I was like, whoever your coach is, you need to get away from them and far away from them. I was like, this is the worst diet I've seen structured.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, that's the client's got to realize that it's if I get sent a diet and it's some BS from my coach, I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm going to question it.
Mhm.
And at the point, hey, give me my money back because this is not what I paid for.
Yeah. So here's the thing too with getting an initial diet from a coach, right? I'm sure you do the same thing I do. I got a list of questions. I do my stuff over email mostly. I love to talk to them too, but most of the updates, the transactions go through email. A lot of times I'll follow up with a text or a phone call. But I have an intake form that I send out, has a list of questions on there that I want you to fill out. Right. I also collect some information that we talk about through text and messaging. But that initial plan is one, it's only going to be as good as the information that you've given me.
Yep.
And two, it's probably going to be pretty basic at first. The coaching aspect, you're not paying for the initial plan. No one's paying for the initial plan. The initial plan is only going to get you so far. The initial plan is like a test plan, right? I'm going to get here's a pretty standard diet. We're going to see what starts happening. Follow this plan for a week, 2 weeks. We'll see what changes you make. And then we start, that's when the coaching comes in after that. How you respond to the initial plan, that's where the coaching comes in. Okay, what do we need? What do we need to tweak? What foods we need to pull out, put in, etc. But the initial plan, like that's what drove me crazy, man. When Nick Trigili came out, right? When Nick Trigili hit
That full,
IG and he was just bashing Dave and bashing some of the clients, saying, and his big thing was, oh, I do custom diets to each individual, custom plans. And I'm like, dude, like every coach is going to give someone, really honestly, I'll be upfront about it, dude. My initial plans are all pretty standard for the same, for like each new client. Listen, the amounts aren't the same, right? I have certain ratios in my head that I go off of, like going off your body weight. I have certain ratios that I'm going to give you for amounts of food, but it's all the same foods, dude. We only eat like 8 foods,
yeah, it's
eight to
not like
11
we have
foods
a
total.
page
So
selection.
your diet is going to be really close to freaking the other person's diet. The coaching doesn't start until after the initial plan. So when he was bashing Dave, saying like, "Oh, it's just cookie cutter diets," like, no shit, dude. We only eat so many foods.
There's only but so much.
What
I
do you
mean,
want? Like,
I try to change a lot of things up, use variety, bring in a little different foods here and there for each person,
yeah,
but there's only so much we can do.
no, but
But
you,
all that
the
topic,
initial plan starts off pretty simple. The initial plan is going to start off. It's going to look like your friends. It's it's the same foods. Amounts are going to be different a little bit, but it's all going to be, it's all pretty similar. The coaching comes in after the initial plan sent out, and it's the tweaks that you start getting. That's where the coaching comes in.
wasn't it around the same exact time he tried calling out Dave over that whole the site injection thing and the custom diet thing?
Dude,
Wasn't
they
it
didn't
the
even
time that a guy called him out that was his client that paid him for all this food diet supplementation stuff?
wait. Hold
And
on. What'd you say?
and
I missed the beginning of it. Sorry.
it was about the same time that someone called him out, Nick
Oh,
Trigili,
okay.
about his whole custom diet thing because he sent him the exact same plan that he sent his buddy, even had his buddy's name on the little email list.
Nice.
I'm almost positive that was the exact same time because I remember that happening, and it was something dealing with like the guy was, I don't think he was allergic to rice, but it was something with rice didn't sit well with his system. It made him
Yeah,
very nauseous and everything.
and he probably wrote in his intake form.
Yeah. And the guy was like, "What are you talking about? Rice doesn't do that." It's like, dude, if I'm telling you it does it, it does it. If you don't want to believe me or not, you can't force me to eat it.
Right.
Like Victor Gilly like fought the guy about it, and he made it this huge ordeal. It was hilarious.
Mm,
Yeah, but but that's a big thing you're going to run into with these big time coaches is the average run of the mill person. You're just getting somebody else's diet.
yeah.
I guarantee that. I mean, and I've seen it before where they'll have somebody else's name on it.
Yep.
Nick Trigili, that's how he got caught.
Yeah. That's awesome. I can't stand that guy, man.
It was funny when he first came on the scene. He was, I think, one of the first videos I saw him talk about was like site injections. Not that stuff he came out with, but like he was saying, he's like, yeah, this is where you want to inject for the bicep, and he's holding a pin.
Oh yes.
Like he's holding a pin. He's like, yeah, you inject the bicep right here, and I'm like, the fuck, this is deltoid. What the hell is he doing? he's pointing to his delt with the pin.
Yeah.
The guy's such a clown, man.
Yeah. They got in a big. Him and Dave got in that big little battle going back and forth because, dude, Dave gets so many emails a day. People ask him a million questions about stuff. So when something new hits the market, they're, oh, hey, what do you know? All his clients are, hey, can I take this? Can I take that? And Nick came out with his hyaluronic acid site injection, which is like used in like cosmetics to like, and like inflate your lips. And
Yeah.
it's, I don't know the science behind it, but Dave just put a video out there just explaining like, this is what hyaluronic acid is. It's not what you guys think it is. And like, he lost his stuff and he like freaked out on Dave for site injection. Like, oh, you took all this synthol and synthol doesn't work and blah, blah. And it's like, dude, like he's just doing a video telling the truth. Like, I'm sure your stuff works to an extent, but
And well, I'll tell you straight up, me and a friend, we split some of that hydronic acid stuff just
yeah,
to try it out.
yeah.
Did it work? Yeah. For about 2 weeks.
For about 2 weeks, then it just fit.
Yeah. And he says it lasts up to a year, this, that. No, about 2 weeks, and it's gone.
It's
Not, and honestly,
water based, isn't it?
yeah, it's just water based. Literally, that's all it was I lost definition in my biceps.
So it's
And
inflated it.
it's just blood. It's literally was like injecting creatine straight into the muscle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it felt like, just bloated water.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give it at least this though. Working out, it felt good working out. Like that pump was crazy,
The
but
pumps, yeah, I heard you get good pumps on it.
but nothing out of it. It's worthless. I don't see how he has repeat customers if he does.
I don't know. I looked at it. I looked it up too. It was like stupid expensive for like a full. If you wanted to do like a full prep on it, it was going to be like ridiculously
I
expensive.
think when we got it, it was like brand new on the market. Me and a buddy split a 10 pack, and it was like I think it was like $105 a piece for basically 5 bottles.
Yeah, but you're injecting a lot, right?
You're supposed to inject it twice a week.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like I want to say 4 cc's each injection.
Wow, it's a lot.
Yeah, and the injections didn't hurt, but that also kind of told me I was like, if I'm injecting 4 cc's in my bicep and it doesn't hurt, something's up here. Like it should hurt.
Yeah.
But
No,
he lived.
he's another one that's I don't know. I've never seen one of his plans. I just don't like him as an individual. So
I know from just listening a little bit to him and people talking about him, he
yeah.
was very heavy into drugs. And
Yes.
admittedly, he admitted that he was taking Aromacin, Arimidex, and Navadex way above what we normally take as bodybuilders at the same time for a show.
Well, that's how he got famous all of a sudden, right? Is he came out talking about these crazy cycles he was taking.
Is that how he got famous for it?
Yeah. So did he get famous for bashing people and talking about the crazy cycles he did to win? What did he win? USA's. He won USA's, I think.
I think it was. Like, I do remember him talking about he was taking 200 milligrams of Winstrol, 2 milligrams of Arimidex. Like it was I think it was like 50 milligrams of Romacin. I don't know how much Navadex, but it was like basically it was like double, if not quadruple, what we always normally take. And I was like, what the hell's this guy doing?
Hey, listen, man. So we got pretty far off topic, but I think the main point today was you don't need to break the bank for a coach, and you shouldn't. You should not. Your life should not be completely revolved around this sport if you're not going to be an elite genetic pro and you're going to, get some crazy contracts. If you're just an average run of the mill person with normal genetics, don't break the bank. Budget wisely because this is not going to pay off in the long run for it.
That and this is what you have to think. Not only do you have to pay your coach, whether you have a intermediate coach is $100 a month, a high end at 400 or 500 a month, you have to buy food.
Yeah.
Now, I know me as a coach, I don't want you just buying packets of tuna for all your lean meals. I want you getting chicken breast, turkey breast, you get some shrimp. I want you to mix it up. You have to also think about your gear if you're enhanced. Are you
Mhm.
going to buy some shitty ass gear or are you going to get actually good stuff that's effective and doesn't give you infections? Are you going to be stressed out paying bills? Well, now you're not sleeping at night. Now your power's cut off. These
Yes.
are all things you have to factor in. Look at relationships, not just your spouse, your friendships, the people you lose because you don't go out with them. You're in off season. Go out with your friends. Don't turn down a date.
I see a lot of. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Oh no, so you pay attention to your social life. These are things that if you don't have the money, they falter. And is it really worth all that to add 1 pound of muscle?
It do. Listen, man. The people that are following, like this guy in particular that we posted about, the people that are following these guys and the people that are reading this and taking that to heart are young and impressionable guys that haven't established themselves yet, relationship wise and finances wise. So they're going to read this, and it's just it takes them back to that old school mindset, right? Of like, oh, I need to be hardcore. I need to be angry at the gym. I can't talk to people, and I just need it. This is the only thing that matters in the world. And they get so focused on this that they lose touch of reality. And like you said, they lose relationships.
Mhm.
They have no money. They can't pay their bills. This is an expensive hobby, a very expensive hobby. Food is not cheap, man. If you don't have like fortunately for us, we have like a couple like butchers and meat markets around here where the meat's cheap. But like when when I was single, I wasn't doing that. I was just going to Stop and Shop or Big Y, the main supermarkets, and getting my chicken for like $4 a pound. It's
Ooh,
expensive. What's that?
I said, "Ooh, that's expensive."
Yeah, yeah, it's expensive. It's definitely expensive. But no, man, like the amount of chicken and rice and potatoes and whatever else you need to eat, it adds up quickly.
Very
And then
much so.
supplements.
And yeah, supplements, but not also that. Then think of day of the show. People don't put that in effect, especially if you're a female. You're talking a $200 to $800 bikini, hotel fees, tanning fees, entry fees.
$1,000 weekend.
There's just so much involved into it
Yeah,
that people don't realize money's valuable and it's not worth it at that point. I've
right.
actually trained people where I started training with them, they were paying a fee and they never said nothing to me, but I could tell like they didn't have money. I
Right.
stopped charging them. I said, don't worry about paying me until after the show. And then
Yeah.
honestly, even after the show, I didn't want their money. Just because I know it was tough. Especially I had one client that during this whole Corona situation still was able to compete, lost his job, but still wanted to compete.
Yeah.
I didn't charge him. Just the whole show, the whole prep, do his thing. Um, that's what a good coach will do. It's not about the money. I'd rather see you succeed. You
Definitely.
know, if it means so much to you to get that first place trophy that you're willing to throw everything in your life away, your friends, your family, your relationships,
Yeah.
send me an email. I'll send you a $5 first place trophy.
Yeah.
If it's that important.
Yeah. Dude, I've been there, man. I've been consumed by, now that I've been doing it for long enough, you start to realize what's more important. But like, I remember in like 2016, 2017, dude, if I missed, like, I remember freaking out because I ran out. David had me taking Lipolyze, fat burner, right? He's taking me Lipolyze with the daytime fat burner and then Somlyze the nighttime fat burner. And I ran, oh, that's right. I ran out of the Somlyze. I ran out of the nighttime one. Dude, I remember like just throwing shit in the house, just being so freaking angry because I didn't have a nighttime fat burner. And I texted, was like, can I take the Lipolyze at nighttime? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
But it's things like that
Dude,
freak you out over, and it's
I was,
just over money.
fortunately Summer stayed with me, but like if she left me at that in that period, and I'm not talking about just that one incident, like I was freaking out about a lot of stuff, man. It'd be completely rational for someone to leave you in that situation because you get so consumed and it's just yeah, it's
Just check
not
your
that
pantry.
serious.
If they leave, just check your pantry for the jelly. That's all that matters.
One day we'll tell the jelly story in here.
But this is all stuff that I feel like, to me, the client doesn't realize they have the power.
Yeah.
That's just in my eyes. Yes, you can't tell me what you're going to take, not take. You can recommend, hey, look, I really don't want to take this, then we don't do it.
Mhm.
Say, hey, I just, I don't want to do that. We can work things around that. You have the power as the client, not this guy telling you what to do that doesn't communicate with you, that doesn't care about your money. One thing, and I've told you this, and good amount of my clients know this, is I don't like charging a lot of money because I know what it's like to do a show dead broke.
Mhm.
Um, I remember going to the 7-Eleven one morning to get gas, card didn't work, no money. I had to sell a pistol. I had to borrow money from family.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had to pay my entry fee. I had to borrow trunks just to compete.
Yeah.
And that's when I sat back and realized, like, was that really worth it? I think I got
Yeah.
second place. Was that really worth second place for all that bullshit? Hell no. Hell no.
Nope. No,
You know,
it's not, man. It's
is it
not worth it.
process and everything? Yeah. But at the end result, when you actually sit back and you're chowing down on your pizza after your show and you're all happy and you're like, that fucking sucked. I had to do all that just to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's start wrapping this up a little because I got my mom here. She's visiting for the week. And so let's roll into some of these questions here. And I apologize. I completely dropped the ball. I posted a sticker on Friday and then I forgot to post it again today. So we don't have that many questions, but okay. Here's a good one. Should the NPC live stream more events to give amateurs more exposure?
I say yes and no. Yes, to give them exposure. People
Yep.
like us that can make the shows, we'd like to see it. I think that'd be an awesome thing.
Mhm.
And they do that typically for like national level shows, stuff like that.
They've been now, yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, another reason why I say no is because that's just going to make entry fees go up even more, and they've been skyrocketing for years.
Yeah. So like Dave and RX also used to do it a while back. I think it just got too expensive for them. But
Didn't Dave talk about trying to have like a YouTube channel dedicated to just the regional shows and high end shows, having them recorded? I remember him talk about that on one of his shows.
maybe he just mentioned it. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about it recently. But no, man. So yeah, we'd all love that. We would love it. But honestly, realistically, it's too expensive. They're already charging. I don't invite people to my shows anymore. It's embarrassing. Because everyone at work's like, oh, I want to come watch you. Where is it? I'm like, it's $40 to come and watch me for less than 2 minutes.
Oh, it's
Now,
just $40
for the nighttime show or for the
Oh,
morning
oh,
show.
it was the last not last year's states, but the state before that was $80 at night.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. It's outrageous. It's too expensive. So I'm gonna have both my parents and their husband and wife come. So that's 4 people, and then I'm gonna have friends. It gets way too expensive. It's embarrassing. It's all for venue, and we're not getting any money for it. They're just it's paying for the venue. So if you want to add streaming on top of that, they can't afford it because realistically, how many people are going to pay? Because they're going to charge 20, $40 to stream that per view. So how many people are really going to buy that? It's going to be too expensive.
Yeah.
I wish there were more like independent contractors, YouTube guys that were going out to the shows and interviewing people and capturing it, but I'm sure the MPC would charge them as well too. So I would love it. Realistically, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah. And that's a topic as far as like the cost and everything and the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's another topic for another day, but it's pretty surprising that some of the stuff I've learned from some of these promoters,
Yeah.
the amount of money they make, whew,
Really? Yeah.
a lot. Like they don't need to work. They can promote 1 to 2 shows a year and that's all they do.
So let's save that for maybe next week or another week. But let's talk about all the costs associated with competing because that's a whole thing in itself.
That's
Okay. I think this is your client. Vegan bodybuilding. He's not vegan, but I think it'd be a cool topic. So I'll just start off from my point of view quick. I'm not vegan. I don't have any vegan clients or vegetarian clients. Never practiced it, never really looked into it too much. But my initial input or my initial take on it is it would be extremely difficult to be a successful, competitive vegan, vegetarian bodybuilder, strictly in the form of just getting enough protein in. Not even getting enough protein in, but getting enough clean, low calorie protein. So when you talk about protein sources, right? Typically, like lentils, beans, tofu, quinoa, all this kind of stuff. It's very carb heavy and some of them are fat heavy. So to get lean protein sources, it's very difficult. And so quinoa, I think I just looked up before this thing. I just wanted to have some couple answers for it. It's like a cup of quinoa to get 8 grams of protein. So a cup of quinoa, you're going to get like 40 grams of carbs to 8 grams of protein. It's just not real. I'm sure there's ways. I know there's vegan bodybuilders and vegetarians. It just I wouldn't know how to approach it, honestly.
I know a little bit about it, not enough to where I'd be comfortable taking a client that way.
Right.
But also understand that, and this all started, I think, I can't remember the guy's name. It was about 3-4 years ago.
Netflix.
Who?
That video on Netflix?
Oh, no. There was a bodybuilder actually that went vegan. And he still competed nationally. He doesn't anymore. But he went vegan.
But he went vegan.
That's exactly where he went.
That's the biggest misconception with it, man. It drives me nuts.
He did not build that body eating tofu.
No.
Same with these athletes like LeBron James. There's a couple more high-end guys that they live a vegetarian vegan lifestyle. They did not get this way being vegan. No. They had meat sources. They had eggs. They had whey protein. They had sources to build that muscle. Is it possible? Probably. I don't know. But I don't see it happening to a high level. I don't see you putting on a lot of muscle as a vegan or vegetarian bodybuilder.
No. Yeah.
You can maintain a good, healthy look. Be the guy in the gym with the 6-pack, nice shoulders. Okay, yeah. Could you compete nationally? I don't think you could.
I don't think so. No. I think Little Monster, the girl, I forget her name now. Pro Physique, Women's Physique, maybe. Mm-hmm. I forget. She went vegan. I think she was going to do a show, and she came in. I think she pulled out, and I think it's because she was not looking good. It just so the biggest point is one. I don't think you can protein requirement wise. I think it's very challenging to get your protein requirements in while keeping the other macros at bay. And then to your other point, which is the other biggest thing with it is all these pros and these high level, these Instagram famous physiques that are now vegan did not build their physique on a vegan vegetarian diet. It's much easier to maintain a look than it is to achieve that look. Yeah.
I actually kind of a thing to say on this too is I actually helped a friend who was a vegan. Just wanted to try and lose a little bit of weight. And I told him, I said, look, I have no experience in this. Mm-hmm. So they actually taught me a lot about it. Horrible situation. Nothing good have happened with it.
Yeah.
She didn't work out. She didn't do much cardio. Well, she worked out, but it was like 1-2 times a week. Yeah. But it was all this stuff that she was like, oh, no, I can eat this and this and this. Like it was like seaweed chips, all this other stuff that was being thrown in. I'm like, look, your diet is laced in fats and carbohydrates. You're not going to lose fat this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like the whole keto thing where people think they can eat bacon and other shit. That's
Or
not
macro
the whole.
dieting. Macro dieting. It's you tell me an Oreo is equivalent to a goddamn potato. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't start with that.
Last question, which is pretty tough. I'll let you go first. Most common misconception in bodybuilding.
Ooh. Most common,
Yeah.
there's two that come to mind instantly is amount of gear used to put on muscle.
Yeah.
Quick answer to that, it's genetics. Everyone's going to respond differently of X amount of milligrammage. Each person's going to respond differently based on their genetics. I would say that the biggest one is because I get asked this constantly is amount of time spent in the gym.
Yeah.
I get asked constantly, oh, do you spend 2-3 hours a day in the gym? And I'm like, 45 minutes. That's about outside of leg day. I'm
You train by
gone.
yourself?
Yes.
Okay. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, arm day for me is 20, 25 minutes. I'm out the door.
Really?
I follow the old Dorian Yates adage, get in, get out, and go eat.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I'm almost hesitant to say it just because of a recent conversation, but exercise selection. There's no musts in bodybuilding. I don't think you need to bench press. I don't think you need to deadlift. I was pretty strong in saying I don't think you need to squat, but I think the images that I sent you from like last week or whatever it was, comparisons to myself, I think kind of tell a little different story for me personally, at least. And then I think I was gonna say supplements too. I think, but not what you were saying. Everyone thinks that if you're enhanced, you're gonna be humongous in a pro, and I don't think that's true. There's plenty of people that I've seen take some stuff and they look like complete shit. the work, you still need to work, you still need to train, and you still need to eat like a bodybuilder to look like a bodybuilder. I don't care what you're taking.
Yeah. Oh, guaranteed 100%. And kind of on that same additive is from people that I know personally that are very, very, very big. You'd be shocked. I've told you some of these numbers, but people would be shocked on the amount of stuff that they take is nowhere near what they're thinking they're taking.
Yeah.
And then you have guys on the national level stage that are a quarter of their size that are taking 10 times the amount, literally 10 times the amount, and aren't even comparable. And they're in their mind, they're like, oh, well, they got to be taking more.
So Chris Aceto, one of him and Dave's Heavy Muscle Radio podcasts. So those who don't know, Chris Aceto was Jay Cutler's coach, 4-time Mr. Olympia from when he was a child to I think up to 2008.
Yeah, I think he trained from what, 15 years old, something like that?
Yeah, 15 or 16. He identified him real young. He said him and Chris said on the podcast they never once had a discussion about gear. He said, people are not going to believe me. He said, but we have never once had a discussion about gear.
So he just told them what to take and okay.
No, like I don't think I don't know. I don't think he ever like told them like a cycle. I'm sure.
I have a hard time believing that just because.
So I listen. I think what he meant was I'm sure he told him what to take. Probably like off season. I just don't think it was like I don't think they ever had like a big discussion like we need to take this and that and this and that. I think they're probably just like take some tests and take some whatever else. You know what I mean? You know how Chris talks. He's very just nonchalant with everything.
Well, see that I do know a lot of your bodybuilders. They don't want to know a lot about it. Like the high end guys, they know about it, but they don't want to know too much about it because they don't want to get involved in it, get wrapped up, which is kind of a smart thing.
Yeah.
Because the more knowledge you know, the more you're going to want to spread. Well, if I don't have that knowledge, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
And I could tell you one of the guys that I know that's a high end guy, very high end pro. The most he takes in the off season is 750 milligrams of test, 50 milligrams of anadrol. That's his complete cycle. Wow. He'll get off anadrol. He'll take Tren at about 300 milligrams a week. That's literally what he does in the off season. And he's a pro. And then you take some of these amateurs that are taking 2.5 grams of testosterone, 100 milligrams. I've heard of one guy, I'm not even kidding you, 200 milligrams of anadrol. I wanted to see his blood work bad.
I have no idea, man. I have no idea what that even do.
And you're looking at, it's a giant water buffalo that's just fat.
Yeah.
All this stuff is based on your genetics. It really is.
At the end of the day, that's 99.9% of it. The other
It's kind of
0.1%
we were
is
talking about
zero.
earlier, is so you're spending all your money on a guy to tell you what to take,
Yeah.
spending all your money on this gear, and you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
You're rotting from the inside. So is it really worth that to win a regional show? To be a top 10 guy at nationals?
Yeah.
Lose
That
relation.
point. Yeah. On that point, we'll leave it there. We'll come back next week and talk. We'll figure out a topic this week. Cool. Thanks for stopping by.